Hello friends, and welcome to another video. In this video I will be painting this cute and whimsical little deer girl with watercolors. I am actually trying out some new watercolor paints for this piece from the company GenCraft. GenCraft contacted me and asked if I would like to review a few of their products, and I said yes, please. So they sent me their 24 watercolor set and their 24 acrylic paint set. So for this video, I used the watercolor set. All of my opinions are my own, and this is my honest review. But before I give my thoughts on the paints, I want to talk a bit about the piece itself. So I drew this deer girl back in 2019, I think, and I have been wanting to turn her into a painting for a while. I really like the way how her sketch came out, so that made me want to paint her. So I transferred her to a piece of watercolor paper, but I never got around to actually painting her, so I finally had a chance to sit down and work on her. I spent most of 2020 focusing on acrylic paintings, which is part of the reason why it took me so long to start working on her. Before I start a painting, I like to do a few color studies and color mock-ups to decide the color palette that I want for my piece. I normally use markers to create the color studies, but lately I've been doing digital mock-ups to decide my color palette, and it has really helped to streamline the painting process for me. One of the issues that I have when I do color mock-ups with markers is that I am limited by the number of colors that I own, which honestly isn't very much. I don't do a lot of marker work, but by doing a digital mock-up, I have a much wider range of colors to choose from, and I can get much closer to the color palette that I want. To create my digital mock-ups, I first scan my sketch into my computer, and then I load it into Photoshop. After my sketch has been loaded into Photoshop, I create new layers to separate my digital colors from my sketch layer, and then I just start painting and experimenting with colors and textures. One thing I do like to do is to put my layers onto the blend mode of multiply. I know it can darken up your colors a little bit, but I like it because it allows you to paint almost directly on top of the sketch. Though I have been using Photoshop mainly for my digital mockups, I have recently gotten Clip Studio, so I'm going to try that out the next time I need to make a digital mockup. Alrighty, now let me talk a bit about GenCraft's watercolor set and give you my honest thoughts and opinions on them. Alrighty, and I have to say, I really like them. They are not chalky, which is really nice. It's quite common for affordable watercolors to dry quite chalky and dusty, but these don't do that. They layer and build up very well. I think these are great for beginner watercolor artists because one of the things about watercolor is you have to work from light to dark, and these allow you to learn how to do that. Since they build up really well, you won't accidentally lay down too much pigment. You can take your time and really build it up. There is no smell, which may be a weird pro for some people, but for me it is a very welcome and needed pro. I have a very sensitive sense of smell, and if things are too potent, well, then it can trigger a headache. But they didn't smell, which was great, because sometimes with more affordable art products, they can sometimes have a bit of a smell to them. This may also be another weird pro, but I really like the pigment for the ultramarine blue. Usually, ultramarine is a very bright and vibrant red blue, but theirs was more of a muted blue, which I really like. Ultramarine is not a color I reach for very often because I tend to prefer a more muted blue, but I really liked this color and it mixed beautifully with the violet in the set. They were very easy to work with. I didn't have any major issues with blending, lifting, or mixing the colors together. However, I would not recommend putting the colors in a palette and letting them dry. They can be reactivated, but they mix better if they're fresh from the tube. Though I will say the mixing palette I used with them may be partly to blame. It's made with a really weird plastic, and even my Daniel Smith watercolors act pretty weird on it. But it was my only clean palette, which is why I used it. So just take that into account. I also needed some opaque paint for bits and pieces on the painting, so I used some of the acrylics that GenCraft sent me to add the yellow to the middle of the flowers, her eye whites, and the little dots in the background. I will be making a separate review video for those, but so far, I like them. So my final verdict for these watercolor paints is I really liked them and I highly recommend them. I think they're perfect for beginners and for more experienced artists looking for a great product at an affordable price. And let's end this video with some satisfying tape peeling. If you're a fan of oddly satisfying tape peeling, then give this video a thumbs up. Alrighty, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you are interested in purchasing these paints for yourself, I will have the link in the description box. If you would like to continue on this art journey with me, then feel free to subscribe, and if you would like to see works in progresses of my pieces and sneak peeks before they come out on YouTube, then I suggest that you follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!